So you want to take photos that don't look like anyone else's. Here's how to get a little closer to doing just that in less than 5 minutes. First things first, you have to understand how the photography sausage is made. You have to understand all the existing recipes, get a handle on them, become an expert at them before you can start to make your own type of photography sausage. In other words, seeing the patterns in other people's work and understanding how to replicate them in your own. Now, I know that this might sound counterintuitive to taking photos that look different from everyone else's, but bear with me for a second. If you're just starting out here, it's not a race to redefine the art form. Make sure that you have the basics of composition drilled into your head first. The rule of thirds, framing, foreground elements. If you look around online and you follow a whole bunch of photographers, you'll see patterns and through lines in people's work. You'll start to recognize certain photography archetypes, elements or compositions or themes that you can kind of pick up on in a lot of people's work. And when you start to see those through lines and you start to understand how to create them on your own, you'll also begin to understand when you do see something a little more unique, why it is that it's unique, why it is that it breaks the mold and doesn't follow the rules. So step one, frankly, if you're only shooting once a month, or if you aren't immersing yourself in the work of others, studying, learning through osmosis, being inspired by what other people are doing, I would start there. The next step to taking photos that don't look like everyone else's is to practice intentionally, to practice photography intentionally. Here's how you start to develop your own style, your own eye, and get a different take on the same scenes that everyone else is shooting. When you find something that you like, an element, a subject, a certain location, and you feel that urge to take a photo, challenge yourself to stay in one place and take 5 different compositions of that same thing that you find interesting. And just be persistent. Don't walk away until you've come up with 5 different compositions or frames surrounding the same theme, the same detail, subject, whatever. When you make a habit of doing this, it teaches you not to only approach a scene from the most obvious angle or the first angle that comes to mind, but to start seeing all the different ways that you could approach it. I think it helps you view the whole world in a more creative, out-of-the-box sort of mindset. The next thing to consider, step 3, go to different places. Here in the street photography community, everyone has been obsessed with Lisbon the last few years. But the thing is, if you follow a trend like that and you go to Lisbon, I tried it last year, so you don't have to, would highly recommend, but all the same, you're probably gonna walk away with a lot of photos of little yellow trams kind of going up and down hills. Sure, it's possible to get other compositions, and I did, and who knows what you'll walk away with, but if you follow the larger flock of photographers to whatever place is popular at that moment, chances are that you're going to walk away with similar shots of similar things. I'm all for making that pilgrimage to New York City, to Paris, to Chicago, Lisbon, these street photography hotspots. But don't be afraid to go off the beaten path too. Last year, when I visited Panajachel in Guatemala, I'm not claiming to be the first photographer to ever shoot Panajachel, but I did have an absolute field day shooting there, and I don't recall ever seeing anyone else's street photography from Panajachel, and I think that some of my more unique compositions were taken in Guatemala. Again, just a thought and some encouragement to not be afraid to go off the beaten path. Now lastly, thing number 4, there's not actually any shame in your photos looking like other people's work. If you visit San Francisco, it's okay to shoot the Golden Gate Bridge. There are commonalities and trends in our tastes, in what we like or dislike for a reason. I think that it's noble to try and do something unique, but putting pressure to only take photos that don't look like anyone else's and to constantly be pushing the envelope of what you're capable of what has been done before in photography is a really good way to feel pretty terrible about yourself, because with millions and millions of photographers roaming around, chances are it's not going to be possible to entirely break the mold each and every time you press the shutter. As long as you're not openly trying to copy someone or copy someone's style, I think it's okay. Push yourself in your photography, push the boundaries of what you're capable of what you've seen before, but above all, have fun and enjoy taking photos, enjoy the process of photography, because that in and of itself is rewarding, regardless of how unique the composition is that you walk away with. So that's that. Hopefully this has been helpful. I will be back with the next full-length video on Monday. I'm going to be talking about the Fujifilm X-H2S in relation to Sony's lineup and kind of the pros and cons of staying on a Fujifilm hybrid camera versus going to a competitor like Sony. So if nothing else, grab your popcorn, head down to the comments and enjoy. Thanks for watching as always. Talk to you soon on Monday.